Welcome to this video about the candidate experience using the telection platform. So you probably now have received an email with a link to activating your account after having created your user. So you clicked on the account and you're taken into the telection platform. Then this page is displayed before you and I will just quickly go through it. My name is Hans-Petter Ramstad and I'm the founder of telection. So at the top you have a short description of the page itself. You have also a short description of the project that you are linked to, your user profile, a link to which account this user is linked up to through the project, current status, which is usually created after having logged in or activated the user for the first time. And below that, you have the most important part, which is an overview of the activities that you have been asked to do. So in this case, you have been asked to do 6 activities. Enter some basic information about yourself, then go through a personality test, a fluid intelligence test, crystallized intelligence test, then a set of games. In this case, you see that there are 6 different games, and a cognitive flexibility test. You see that none of these activities has been started and not completed either. You see it, the icon here, red circle. You also see a progress bar below, which is at 0 currently. Below that again, you see a button which you see that is with text make visible, which is disabled and will get enabled only when all activities are completed. And when that is done, you can then click on make visible so that your results are visible to the project owner or the requester of these actions. Below that, you also have some information about how you can continue working on this user having completed the activities and made it visible. You can then click on this cog or also similar one up in the right corner and go to configuration of user. And usually here you can either delete your user and all the data, clear data. You can convert your user to a standard user, which gives you access to the complete telection platform. You can share the data or send data. You can also do pullback of your data and clear some of the tests. So let's go back to the main page. You click on the breadcrumbs home. Okay. Back to the main page again, and below you have, for all of these activities, you have a frame in which the results of these activities are displayed. You also here have a link that starts the activity itself. So for the time being, I haven't completed any activities. So let's start with activity number 1, basic. So open that, and just some basic information entered here. It picks up my username, my email, and my mobile that was used when I registered the user. I register where I'm living in Norway. I am male, and my date of birth is the 12th of January, and I have to scroll down a bit. 67. Having completed an activity, and this goes for all the screens, you can either navigate to the next step or back to the home page. And if you haven't pressed the save button, it will ask you to save or not to save before navigating. So let's say that we go back to the main page. Ask if you want to save the changes. Let's save it. Press save. And then you are taken back to the home page and you see some changes. You see that basic activity is now ticked off and complete, and the progress bar has moved a bit, so 17% is now complete. So let's move to the next activity, which is personality test. You click on that and then the personality tests are opened. So this is a personality based on the Big Five or Ocean model. It's with 120 statements. And you see the statements below. You can switch between Norwegian and English if you want. And the whole point here is to look at the statement, and then to the right, click if you disagree or you agree or something in between. So let's say I easily resist temptations. Let's say that I do. So then I can click agree. The next one is I tell the truth. Of course, I almost always tell the truth. So let's say that I partially agree. And then the next, I love excitement. Let's assume that I do not do that. So let's say partially disagree. And that's how you continue doing this personality tests. It will automatically save the intermediate results every 30 seconds, I think. You can also save it by clicking on this purple button. And when complete all 120 statements, you calculate and save, and then the results are displayed to you, and you can navigate to the next activity. I'll put the video now on hold so that I will complete the personality test and show you how the results look like. So just hold on a second or two. Okay, now I'm back and completed answering the tests, and I just press calculate and save, and then it will send me the results of this activity. So here you see the big 5 scores that I get based on the answers that I've given. So let's navigate to the next activity straight away. So I click on go next step. And the next activity, I think it's called a fluid intelligence test. So initially you get a dialog box telling you a bit about the logic of this intelligence test. And when you have read that and you are comfortable, you press start to start the activity itself. And just a reminder here, the activities on this project might differ from the project that you are linked to. So it might contain fluid intelligence, it might contain other activities, but this is just a walkthrough of one example. So if you have fluid intelligence tests, the logic is you look at the patterns in the figure to the left, and there usually is one figure missing here. And then you have 6 options to the right that will fit the patterns given in the left setup. So let's see, there are 2 going right and 1 left, 2 right, 1 left, 2 right, and so the next one has to be left, or right, sorry, and it should be white. So this is the correct one. And then you saw that when I clicked on the option that I wanted, it automatically takes me to the next step. And for fluid intelligence, there are 15 exercise sets that are displayed and that you need to answer. So I'll just put you on pause again and come back when I completed this test. Okay, now I've completed the fluid intelligence test. I quickly clicked through it without looking at the correct or wrong answer. So the score is not great as a result of that, but here you are. So the last page is displaying the results and also explaining the result level. And this stage you can then continue to the next exercise or go back to the home page. So I decide now to go back to the home page and see the status of my activities. So here you see, now I've completed 3 activities, 50% complete, and have 3 more activities to do. So let's move on to the next exercise, which is Crystallized intelligence. I click on that and start up that activity set. So initially I get a dialogue explaining me what this is all about and the logic of it, and then I click start to start the exercise itself. And this crystallized intelligence test, which is about knowledge as opposed to fluid intelligence test, which is more an intuitive intelligence. First step is about reading a text and answering 3 questions that are relevant for this text. Having done that, I go to the next step, which is either a graph like this, a chart, or a table. And then there are 2 questions linked to that chart or table. Answer that and go to the next step. The next step is then 3 steps basically, step 3, 4, and 5, where you have different questions where you are to answer each and every one before stepping to the next. And then if you have add all even numbers between 1 and 9, both included, both 1 and 9, what is the result? So you fill that result in here. Look at the series 22, 21, 23, 22, 24, 23. What number should come next? So you select the one that you think is next, etc., etc. So I put you on pause now and I go and quickly finish this. Okay, we are back, and as you see, not the high score possible here. That's because I just clicked through it without looking at the questions themselves. So as for the fluid intelligence test, the last step, or the last screen of the wizard, is about displaying the results and explaining the results compared to the overall population. So let's move back to the main page again, and then you see that we now have 4 activities completed, and then we can do the activity 5, but let's finish with activity 6 first, which is another test, which is called cognitive flexibility test. It's about 46 statements, and similar to personality test, you are to say if this is never true, always true, or something in between. And keep in mind that the time frame of this is the last 2 weeks of your life. So in the last 2 weeks, I was blah, 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 blah. So in the last 2 weeks, in most ways, my life was close to my ideal. So let's say that I totally agree on that. It was brilliant. And then you continue like that. And as for the other tests, you can switch between Norwegian and English if you prefer that. So you complete all this, and there is an autosave here as for the other ones. You can also save intermittent and go out of the test and come back again. Put now you on hold so that I can complete the test. Okay, now I have answered all 46 statements and I can calculate and save. So let's see, missing answers. Okay, there is one missing here. Let's try again. Missing answers again. That's a bit strange. Let's see if I have one here missing. Recalculate. There. Okay, so as you see, we need to complete all the statements, questions, before we can calculate the results, of course. But it still saves it, so you can go in and out and then complete it later on if you want. So here you get the results displayed, and then we can go back to the home page again. And here you see now that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 are complete, 83% finished. And if we scroll down, you can also see the results of these tests below. So you can relook at them later on if you want. For the complex tests that we did at the end here, you can click on the different bars or the chart areas and get an explanation as to what they mean. Okay, so let's go back and complete the last activity. And the last activity is games, and there is 6 games altogether. So let's start with the first one. So this first one is about attention. So you have a short description of the logic of the game itself, and when you click start, the game starts. And this will last for 1 minute, and the purpose of this game is to indicate the direction of the shuttle in the middle of 5 shuttles. So let's start. Okay, you have 5 shuttles and you have one in the middle who is pointing to the right, so you can click on right. You can also use the arrow buttons on your keyboard. So in this case, I press the left arrow, right 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 arrow, right, right, right. Wow, it's a lot of right there. And the left, right, left, right. So you see that the shuttles are moving, and also you see that you also always have to look at only the shuttle in the middle and disregard all other things. So this is a game about how good you are at attention, how good you are at focusing at the purpose of the game itself, and disregard all surrounding issues. So let's complete this game. It goes to the end, and then the results are displayed. So you get 1 out of 5 stars, not too impressive. A lot of correct answers in my case, but response time was very slow. That's why I get a low score. So at this stage, you can either close and keep the results, or you can delete the results and rerun the game. And if you rerun the game, you get 2 more chances to run the game, and then you have to save the last one because you only get 3 shots at it. But let's assume that I'm happy with this, so I just close it. The game results are saved, and I can move on to the next. And the next is the second game of 6. So same thing happens here. Dialogue is displayed explaining the logic of the game itself. I press start, and the game itself starts. In this case, you are looking at the meaning of the word above and the color of the word below. And if they correspond, you press yes. If they don't, you press no. So here it's written blue and the color below is blue. So you say yes. Now it's written orange and the color below is green. So it doesn't correspond. So no. In this case, it says black and below color is black. Yes. It says black, below is black. Yes. It says red, below is black. No, etc., etc. So here you have to differentiate between reading above and looking at the color below. Point of this game is that your brain more fast reads than it detects color. So you have to be inhibitant to your intuitive answer, looking at word against word. So word against color. So again here, I decide to keep the results. So I just press close and I can move to the next game. But then I will just put you on hold again, and I will complete the games, and we'll look again in a few seconds. Okay, now we are back, and I've completed all the games I'm supposed to do. So I just click on the home button to go back to the main page again with activities overview. So I come back here, and there you see all activities are now ticked off, 100% complete, and the make visible button is now enabled. So I just press make visible. Now my data is made available to the requester or the project owner. And as mentioned, all the results are below with details. Now you can choose to sign out and then complete and then do some other things in your life. You can also choose to convert your user to a standard user in order to use more parts of the collection platform. So you click on the cog, and then we're taken to the user config page, and then you can press convert user to a standard user of the collection platform. That was successful. It takes just 3 seconds, and I'm taken into a new user interface. So here you see, compared to a standardized profile, 80% complete, and here I get access to a lot of other functionalities in the collection platform. But that's subject or content for another video. So with this, we have completed the candidate activity window. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Otherwise, I wish you luck with your activities. Thank you for listening and looking at this video. Thank you.